Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, kids repeatedly try to cause car accident and tell me they're going to tell the police it's my fault. Yell at my mother. Enjoy the brief evil of a 5-year-old. Talk to me like a child, I'll outbake you at every turn. Before we get into today's episode, remember to subscribe so you never miss a video. So let's get started. Kids repeatedly try to cause car accident and tell me they're going to tell the police it's my fault. On mobile obligated apology. Let me start by saying the kids had to be in their late teens or early 20s. 2 of them had tattoos, not children but young adults that still act like kids. I, 32F, work at a barricade company. Easiest way to describe it, I'm the one that closes down the traffic lanes and makes you late to stuff. This happened 2 days ago and I hope my revenge was petty enough, but here you are. I had a lane closure that I needed to take off the road. I am about halfway found when I get a city bus stop with 2 guys and a girl. They asked me if I could give them a ride so they don't have to take the bus. I said, "Sorry guys, I can't, I am working," and continued to take the lane closure down. The girl stood up and told me, "I fucking hate rude ugly cunts." I reply, "Congratulations, and keep doing my job." They keep yelling insults, I ignore them. When I was about 300 away, the yelling stops and I see the guys had gotten up and started throwing the barricades in the street into the lane that is now open for traffic to drive in. I run over and take them out of the road and explain to them if they did it again I would call the cops. Then the girl chimed in, "Go ahead bitch, it's not our fault, you're so stupid, you're forgetting to take them all down." I walk away, they do it again. I called the cops, they said that they would be there ASAP. In my experience that means about an hour, so I walk over and tell them I called the cops. And stand there so they can't move them again. After about 5 minutes standing there, the boys told the girl they were going to go get a drink from the Circle K the bus stop was in front of. They left and she would not look at anything but her phone. Now I'm annoyed, I still have more work to do and this lane closure is still up and it's approaching rush hour. And I decided fuck these kids. I pulled out my pepper spray and I sprayed the handles of the barricades that they kept throwing in the street and walked about 50 feet away and waiting. The boys came out of the store, put their bags down and grabbed a barricade in each and threw them in the street. But the handles were wet so they only went on the shoulder, so I didn't go to move them immediately. I saw they wiped their hands off on their pants, but because of the bus stop I couldn't see everything. But about a minute later one of the boys got up and ran into the Circle K with his hand over his eye, and the ran in there a second later too, though nothing seemed to be bothering him. About 10 minutes later when they came out of the store, the cops were just showing up and they both took off sprinting down the street and totally bailed on the girl. I talked to the cops and told them the boys ran off and the girl never touched a barricade, so they were good to go. The girl was crying because her boyfriend left her there. Yell at my mother. Enjoy the brief evil of a 5-year-old. So I figured this would belong here, so here y'all go. This is a recount of something my mother remembered me doing when I was 4 or 5 years old, so details won't be perfect. Back when I went to church with my parents, I had been often needing the bathroom for numerous reasons, as most kids do. My mother being the one to walk with me, she ended up stubbing her toe pretty bad, and cried out with some swear. Use your imagination, she's Irish. Not too much later, the bishop and his wife were speaking with my mother as I walked out of the restroom, witnessing the wife tear my mother a new one for setting a horrible example for your child, whilst apparently bleeding in her shoe. Being the devious brat that I absolutely was, I, in full view of my mother and the bishop, rubbed my hands together and smacked her rear, as hard as I could. The absolute shriek of terror and the attempt of the bishop to not laugh is something my mother seems to cherish to this day. We stopped going to that church after that obviously, which was fine by me, as all the perfume in that building made me nauseous. Talk to me like a child, I'll outbake you at every turn. So back in March I made plans to visit my boyfriend, who I'll call R, all the way across the country. Made it out there like a week before shit hit the fan and basically have been here ever since due to work shutting down and my university going online. Right now he has 3 roommates, 1 single guy and AMF couple T&E. I was only supposed to be here a few weeks, but it's now been 5 months and for a while everything was going smoothly. Anyway, E is very shy and anxious, like jumps when you round a corner anxious. I've tried socializing with her, and being polite, but she sticks by T's side constantly and avoids everyone else. Which is fine, I have anxiety too, I get it. However, if there was something she wanted R and I to change or do, she would never bring it up. Twice now she's written us long notes instead, detailing everything that we've done that's annoyed her. Stuff like our TV being a bit too loud, a bit of egg on the outside of the pan that the dishwasher didn't quite get, or me cling wrapping cookies on a plate instead of in a Tupperware. Small, inconsequential stuff that we would have been happy to take care of or adjust to keep the peace. She once disclosed to me that she had anger issues, and the notes definitely reflected that. Filled with cursing and declarations that we were disrespecting her by throwing away moldy bread that she and T left in the pantry for weeks. I wanted to say something, but my boyfriend is very non-confrontational, so we left it alone. Other than a general, "We read your note and we'll do better" statement. I told her, since she and I are home most often, that she could absolutely come to me and I didn't want any animosity. Well, she never did, and we got another long note in the same vein as the other one, only the complaints were even pettier, like drops of water not wiped off of the stove or us using the extra dish towel to wipe food off, despite us washing it regularly. I was livid, because not only did she not talk to us like adults, she also stated that she tried to give us a taste of our own medicine. We've no clue what she tried, but we didn't notice it. Now, she cooks a lot. Cooks for T basically every night, and bakes occasionally. And I decided that whatever she cooked, I would too. She tried making cornbread that turned out too dense and floury. I made cornbread that was perfectly moist. She made noodles with tofu. I made tofu and rice. It's worth noting that my boyfriend told me once that T complained about E being terrible at cooking, while I've cooked since my early teens as a coping mechanism for depression. So I knew she was bothered when I wrote cheerful little, "Feel free to try my X on the microwave" notes on the fridge. Cookies with homemade frosting, fresh bread, cakes, chili, pies, cobblers, syrups, roasts, enchiladas, and tons of other dishes that I know she can't make. Since that, she's ignored me every time I've said anything to her, and leaves common areas as soon as possible when I'm in there. We're only in this apartment for a bit more, but there've been no more hostile notes since I started showing her up. I think I'll keep leaving my cheerful ones though, people seem to be enjoying the baked goods. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and we'll see you in the next video.